Hello world, my name is Jacob and I'm here to show you my latest project. And this was a big one actually. It's called Notebook MCP server. It's, as it says in the name, it's an MCP model context protocol for NotebookLM. And you're probably wondering, yeah, that's not new. We've seen many of them out there. Yes, that's true. But this is a little bit different. My version, which include 31 tools, you can see all of them, includes the latest features, including data packs. It's not using automation browser. That's what most of the other tools out there are using. I'm using something else. I reversed engineered the Google internal RPC calls, which think of them as internal APIs they use to communicate with features, and I build the MCP around it. It's pretty cool. Once you see it in action, it's pretty fast. You can add it to any of your favorite AI tools. I'll show you some examples with Claude Code. And let's start quickly with the installation. So it's very straightforward. You clone and copy, Control-V and enter. So now it's going to clone and install. That's more or less it. So let's add this to Claude Code. So I'm going to use the user scope. So it's going to be this one and pasted and it's done. So let's do a Claude MCP list to see what we have installed. So, and obviously going to check if it's working. So we have the workspace MCP, something I also built. Here is the NotebookLM MCP. So I think we're good. If you're using Gemini or if you're using some sort of IDE that requires JSON configuration. So here's an example of how you do it. It's very straightforward, no args on this one. You just give it a path of usually your user directory and that path. So let's make sure it works. Let's launch Claude. So the first thing you need to do is to log in and create authentication. The authentication is also a little bit tricky. For that process, we need special cookies that are available during the session. They're quite complex to extract. There is instructions how to do it, but I created a convenient authentication app that will do everything for you. That authentication, what you will do, it will open Chrome in debug mode. It's going to create a new temporary profile. So you'll need to go through your regular Google authentication, but that will be saved in the same directory where that MCP. So going forward, you don't need to enter your Google again and again. So I'm going to go really quickly with that and show you how the command works. So it's going to be, I'll just do it with bash. So I'll do the bash command from here, and that's going to run the command for me. And you'll see in the background, here it is. Try to log in. So there you have it. So you can see in the background, it's authenticated and I'm all set. So now I am in my NotebookLM.com. So you can see side by side what's happening, and I can show you actually things happening as I work with the MCP. Let's ask Claude Code to list all my notebooks. So can you please list all my NotebookLMs? So now it's going to execute the tool. There we go. You can see the first tool to list the notebooks. And I'm going to say, okay, accept it going forward. And you can see he's already kind of getting the response from the backend. And it says I have 25. It's going to formulate. And here are all my notebooks. So, and it can even tell you how many you own, how many you shared with me, and how many you shared by me. So that's pretty cool. So let's ask it about this thingy, mastering the NotebookLM MCP thingy. Can you describe the notebook? And I'm just going to paste the name. And let's see what it's going to give me. So it's going to try to run this command. It's called describe notebook. And that command will go into the notebook, ask it what it's about. And essentially that's what you see when you go into a notebook, and you'll get this preview of the notebook. So it takes it, and you can see side by side, it's almost identical. Sometimes they do some paraphrasing, but it shows you what it's in there. So that's cool. I don't see the site, so wondering how many sources in this notebook. So now, again, it's going to execute a command, and it's already know that they got 14. Can you show me all the sources attached to this notebook, their type, and if any of them requires resync into Google Drive? So if you have notebooks before and you use NotebookLM, you know that when you attach a Google Drive resource, the source is kind of a point of time. So unless you manually sync it with Google Drive after you made changes in the source, it will never pick it up. So this one, I'll let it run in the background. So now it will list the sources and will also check which one are out of sync, which one are not fresh. So there we go. So you can see it already told me, oh, this one needs sync. So that's the NotebookLM demo script. I had a demo script for this video, but I'm terrible at following scripts, so I'm improvising, as you can see. Let's ask it to sync it. Can you please synchronize the sources that require sync? But I think it'll gonna figure it out. If it's with haiku, it should be okay with syncing. So, and there's some actions that require explicit confirmation. Obviously some actions like that, but specifically the delete actions, which we will see. And yeah, I'll say sync now. And yes. And it's executing the sync, looks like successful, and one source synced. So now let's ask it, can you describe the Notebook MCP demo script? And now what it's gonna do is if you go into a NotebookLM, right? And on the sources, you can click on a source and you can ask it, and you'll see a description, auto-generated AI description of this source. So it's doing the same thing, so it'll give you an explanation what it's about. That's cool. Can you run a fast web research on NotebookLM MCP and check when the results are ready? Yes, I want to proceed. So now it's checking the status of the research, and yeah, it discovered that there is, it's done. It was so quick, I even refreshed, didn't work. So I will say import all sources. And now it will include all the sources. So obviously this is one thing. What about creating resources? You know, we have a lot of cool resources in NotebookLM. You can create audio overview, video overview, mind maps, reports, flashcards, quiz, an infographic, even slide decks, and recently added data tables. So let's ask it to create some of the resources for us. Can you create an audio overview, aim for a 5-minute podcast, focusing on the benefits of MCP for NotebookLM? And let's see if it's going to do that. It's now taking my request. It knows what the type of overview available. For example, if I go back here, when you click on the audio overview, you'll see you have some options, brief and critique and debate. I could ask it for everything. I could ask for short or long, and I could even ask for language. So that's one thing that I could do, and I'll try to do that right now. No, no cancel. Can you actually create the audio overview in Hebrew, but again, aim for 5 minutes length. So now it also supports any language that's available in that. So it should give me, yes, create it. I'm jumping around too fast. And you can see it sends the brief, the length is short, and the language is Hebrew. And that's the prompt it's sending to the backend creation of the audio overview. So now it's also going to check when is the resource. So if I'll jump back, so here as you can see that it created a new NotebookLM MCP research, and here's the audio overview. So let me go back here. Okay, awesome. So can you create a quiz, an infographic, and data pack? So now it's going to try to create a quiz, infographic, and data pack. It will show me 3, yeah, create a data pack. and create all three. Yeah, why not? Let's go. And you're going to create the quiz now. And it's probably going to ask for the last one for the infographic. So if we'll jump back quickly, you can see they're being created in the background. Lastly, it's table. Oh, well, yes, data tables to be created. So that's the last one. So now they're all being generated. Checking for the quiz will take very quickly to generate them at some point. And oh, by the way, all the resources are done. Let's see if we created actually this one in Hebrew. Yeah, it looks like it's...
זה סיכום מהיר על היתרונות של שילוב פרוטוקול MCP.
Yeah, it's in Hebrew. I don't know if you can hear it, but that's created something in Hebrew. In that same notebook that you're in, can you run a local drive search in the notebook using the tool for NotebookLM MCP resources? Okay, so now I'm going to be a little bit more explicit. Hopefully we'll pick it up. It's haiku after all. And there we go. Oh, actually it's running query. Again, that's where you're going to probably hit some issues with lower end models. They're not as smart. For example, if I was using Sonnet or Opus, obviously it will be smarter in getting my request and taking the right tool. But essentially what you're seeing here, it asks that notebook. And this is one of the major elements of a notebook where you can ask it questions. And that's what it just did. So it went to the notebook, it asked it the question, and it presented the response back to me and where it got it and all this information. So imagine a scenario where you're working in Claude Code on something, for example, on some new technology or project or a language, and you can ask it to quickly create a NotebookLM research on that particular language or topic that you really want to get some information, and ask it to create deep research on that notebook. And once it's done, it will let you know. And then you can ask that notebook or your AI tool any question you may add to make your AI smarter and really handle some sort of a scenario that is happening. And it will do that for you automatically. And then you can delete it. So, and let me show you how to do that. So let's take that name and I'll show you the deletion of this project. So let's ask it to delete that notebook. Please delete. I'm so lazy, oh my God. And I give it the NotebookLM MCP Research. Now, as I mentioned, it's going to ask you for confirmation. So I'll say yes, delete it. And that NotebookLM should be gone. And it says success. So if I'll refresh that page, the NotebookLM MCP that was here is gone. So hopefully I gave you a sense of what this MCP is all about. It's the biggest MCP I ever created. Like I mentioned, it's 31 tools, but with a lot of tools come a lot of responsibility and tokens. So if I'll go into my context window here, you're probably going to see all the tools that are being loaded, and you can see that the MCP tools consume quite a lot. I did a lot of the optimization to reduce the token consumption of all the tools. There's a lot of techniques to do that, but it's going to occupy white space. So what I'm suggesting is if you're not using it, just disable it. For example, you can go to MCP and disable, and that will disable all your MCP, right? So now nothing is working. And one thing of authentication, they're short-lived. It's going to ask you probably refresh every once in a while. So all you need to do is when it's refreshed, you just do like I did. You do the bash command, and let me do this properly. So you're going to do NotebookLM MCP auth. And as I mentioned, that will bring up the window. And as you can see, I'm already logged in. So it should be quickie. I don't need to do anything again. I don't need to log into Google. And in the backend, it did it. So one of the things is say, list all my notebooks. And if everything okay, you'll see an API call with the response success, as you can see here. And I have 25, and you know how it goes. It's going to tell me how many I have and which one. and so forth. Hopefully you were able to see, I was able to show you what this notebook is all about and the MCP that comes with it. It's a really powerful tool. I am a heavy user of NotebookLM for both personal and professional. So hopefully you'll find it interesting. And if you want to try it out and you want to play around, it's available on my GitHub. So as I showed you, it's going to be available right now. Go have at it. And if you like it, contribute, fork. And this is, again, another tool that I created by vibe coding. I'm not a developer. So if you're a developer and you're coming in and you see this tool and you're saying, oh my God, this is terrible. Probably, yes, it's maybe not the most optimized, but it's working and it's pretty awesome. So I don't care. So have at it, enjoy, and let me know what you think. Cheers.